Hello, I'm Randy McClure. Welcome to the latest supply chain tech brief.
Today, we're going to tackle a real sweeping giant in the world of logistics, intermodal transport. You know, the whole system of moving goods in one single container across ships, trains, and trucks. It's a powerful idea, but it feels like it's stuck in the time warp. Let's dive in and figure out why. I mean, on paper, this thing should be a world beater. It's way more cost effective and fuel efficient than putting everything on a truck for a long haul, and the scale is just massive. So here's the big question we're unpacking today. If it's so great, why has it totally flatlined? Why isn't it taking over the entire shipping world? All right, so here's how we're going to get to the bottom of this. First, we'll look at the unfulfilled promise of Intermodal. Then, we'll get our hands dirty and diagnose the 5 huge physical snarls that are holding it back. After that, we'll see how that mess creates a digital disconnect. And finally, we'll check out what a path forward might actually look like. Okay, let's kick things off with section 1, the unfulfilled promise. This is really the story of a brilliant, world-changing idea that somehow lost its way. Like we said, the whole idea is just fantastic. If you're moving stuff a long way, it promises to be cheaper, greener, and lets you tap into the incredible capacity of trains and ships. You'd think it would be the absolute go-to choice for just about everyone, right? And for a good while there, it was an innovation machine. Before the 60s, you had break bulk, which was just a nightmare of manually loading and unloading loose cargo over and over again. Then, boom, the standardized container comes along and completely changes the game. In the 80s, you get double stack rail cars, making trains ridiculously efficient. But since then, well, the focus has really just been on getting bigger, bigger ships, bigger yards, not actually getting smarter. And this quote just nails the problem perfectly. We've got GPS tracking, we've got all these fancy sensors, but the actual physical work of lifting a box off a ship, onto a train, and then onto a truck, it's still shockingly manual and disconnected. And here's the real kicker. All of that friction means things are slow, and even worse, they're just not reliable. Which brings us right to section 2, the 5 physical snarls. And this is where we really start to see why just throwing more software at this problem is never going to work. Now, this right here, this is the core argument. You can't just write some clever code to fix these issues. They are stubborn, real-world, physical problems. You can't solve a traffic jam at a port with an app. So let's break these down, because they're the daily headaches. First, the infrastructure gap. What if your warehouse is 100 miles from the nearest rail yard? Then you've got the handoff hurdle. An app dings and says your container is ready, but your driver shows up and waits in line for 4 hours. The synchronization struggle is just brutal. A simple flat tire can mean your container misses its boat and gets rolled to the next one, a full week later. Then there's regulatory gridlock. A random customs check can add 2 days out of nowhere. And finally, asset scarcity. Your box is good to go, but the chassis, the trailer with the wheels, is stuck at another terminal miles away. It's chaos. Okay, so you've got this physical mess, and guess what? That physical mess creates an equally messy digital one. Let's move to section 3, the digital disconnect, where all the important data is trapped. Think about it. You've got the shipping line, the port, the railroad, the trucking company, all these different players. Getting their systems to talk to each other is a nightmare. And because they're all kind of competing with each other, they don't really have a good reason to share data freely. So what you end up with is this incredibly fragile information network that breaks all the time. So is it a lost cause? How do we possibly fix this? Well, that takes us to our final section, forging a path forward. And it's not about little tweaks. It's about needing huge breakthroughs on both the physical and the digital fronts. So let's start with a really cool, ambitious idea, the physical internet. Just imagine for a second if physical goods could move through a shared network as easily and as smoothly as data packets fly across the actual internet. That's the vision, a totally open, shared, and optimized system for moving, well, stuff. So how would something like that even work? Well, it boils down to 3 key pieces. First, you've got Pi containers. Think of them like smart, standardized boxes that all click together like Legos. Second, you have Pi movers. All the trucks, trains, and ships are designed to handle these standard boxes seamlessly. And third, Pi nodes. These are hyper-efficient shared hubs where everything connects. The goal is a network where everything just fits. But here's the catch, right? You could build the most perfect physical system in the world, but it would be completely useless without an equally powerful digital backbone running the whole show. The two have to grow up together. And building that digital brain really comes down to three basic things. Step one is just connectivity, getting all the different systems to talk to each other, using tools like APIs. Step two is a common language, making sure that when one system sends data, everyone else actually understands what it means. And step three is trust and security, so that everyone involved feels confident that the data is real and safe. If you can get those three things right, you finally have a system that can work. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, fixing intermodal is about so much more than just bigger ships or slicker software. It really demands that we completely reimagine how physical things and the digital information about them flow together around the world.
Hello, this is Raina McClure from SC Tech Insights. Thank you for listening. For more on this topic, click the article link below or go to www.sctechinsights.com for the latest insights on supply chain technology. Thank you and see you next time.